This storyline, it's getting darker, messier, and honestly, way more dangerous than people are ready to admit. And I'm telling you right now, what's happening with Leah, Ashley, and this whole plasma situation, this is not just another hospital drama arc. This is the kind of slow burn chaos that explodes into a full-blown scandal. Let's talk about Leah first. Because, wow, what is she really playing at here? We see her watching Ashley closely, too closely. That's not casual curiosity. That's surveillance. And when a character like Leah starts observing instead of reacting, you already know something calculated is coming. So when we bring up the theory that Ashley might get exposed for stealing antibiotics, I'm sorry, but that doesn't just feel possible. It feels inevitable. Think about it. Ashley didn't steal those antibiotics for herself. She did it for Grayson. That already puts her in a morally gray position. And in soap logic, good intentions almost always lead to disastrous consequences. Always. Now, here's the real question. If Leah confronts Ashley, will Ashley lie? Honestly, I don't think she can. Ashley is not built like that. She's emotional, she's reactive, and when cornered, she cracks. We've seen it before. So if Leah pushes her hard enough, and you know Leah will, I think Ashley breaks. She confesses, maybe not immediately, maybe she tries to deflect, but eventually she folds, and that's where things get really uncomfortable. Because Leah doesn't strike me as someone who just wants the truth. No, she wants leverage. And that brings us to the firing theory. Let's be real for a second. Firing Ashley would be the cleanest move. It removes the liability, protects the hospital, and keeps Grayson from being dragged further into trouble. On paper, it makes perfect sense. But this is beyond the gates. Nothing is ever that simple. Because if Leah fires Ashley, she loses control over her. And Leah, she's all about control. So now we get into the second theory, blackmail. At first glance, I'll admit, it sounds a bit extreme. Like, why would Leah risk exposing herself by dragging Ashley into anything related to plasma? That feels reckless. And Leah is many things, but reckless isn't one of them. If she outright tells Ashley, hey, I'm connected to this illegal plasma operation that's basically handing Ashley a weapon, and Ashley, despite her flaws, is not stupid. She would connect the dots, Grayson, the orders, the secrecy, all of it. And let's be honest, Ashley would go to the police, or at least consider it. So, yeah, Leah wouldn't do that, not directly. But here's where it gets interesting. What if she doesn't reveal everything? What if she just pushes Ashley into a corner where the only way out is compliance? That's the kind of psychological manipulation Leah thrives on. Imagine this scenario. Leah confronts Ashley, lays out the evidence, threatens to expose her theft publicly, not just fire her quietly, but destroy her reputation. And then she gives her a choice. Walk away quietly or stay and make things right. And that is where Ashley becomes vulnerable to being pulled into the plasma orbit without even fully understanding it. And here's the kicker, Grayson. Everything comes back to Grayson. Ashley is already emotionally entangled with him. She's already risked her career for him. So if Leah subtly implies that staying involved might help protect him, or at least keep him safe, you see the trap? Ashley might say yes, not because she trusts Leah, but because she's desperate. And here's my personal take. I think Ashley might pretend to cooperate. She could play along, act like she's on Leah's side, while secretly trying to figure out what's really going on. Investigate, dig deeper, maybe even try to save Grayson. But let's be honest, that kind of double game, in a world like this, it never ends well. Now, let's shift gears for a second because this next part has been bugging me like crazy. WHO took that photo of Ashley and Naomi. Seriously. This detail is not random. Photos in soap operas, they're weapons, they're leverage. They're the beginning of blackmail arcs, betrayals, and massive reveals. So who's behind it? Ren is the obvious suspect. And honestly, he makes a lot of sense. We've already seen him observing Naomi before at the diner, watching her with Samantha and Tyrell. That wasn't accidental. That was intentional surveillance. So if Leah asked him to track Ashley, he would absolutely follow both Ashley and Naomi. And once he sees their connection, boom, photo taken, evidence secured. But here's where I hesitate. Ren feels like the kind of guy who follows orders, not someone who plays his own game. So what if it wasn't just him? What if Leah herself orchestrated this more directly? Or, and this is where things get really wild, what if there's a third player? Someone we're not fully paying attention to yet. And this brings me to Chenise. I know, some people think she's just caught in the emotional crossfire with Ted and Nicole. But I don't buy that she's just a background character anymore. Her conversation with Leah, that was weird. The way she casually brought up her past as a nurse, the gossip, the way she talked about Ashley focusing more on Grayson than her patients, that didn't feel random. That felt like testing the waters. Like she was feeding Leah information or seeing how Leah would react. And then Leah talking about dating in the hospital, that whole exchange felt off. Almost like two people circling each other, trying to figure out what the other knows. So here's my theory, and I'm going all in on this one. Chenise might be connected to Plasma, not necessarily a top-level player, maybe not even willingly, but involved. What if she's the one watching Ashley? What if Leah assigned her that role because Chenise blends in? Because no one suspects her? And if that's true, then the photo, yeah, Chenise could have taken it. Now let's not forget Ren though, because he's still very much in play. And honestly, I think it's either him or Leah who sent that photo to Grayson. In that moment, that's where everything shifts. Because sending that photo isn't just about exposing Ashley. It's about destabilizing Grayson, making him question her. Is she loyal? Is she hiding something? Is she a threat? And when Grayson starts doubting Ashley, that's when he becomes easier to control. This is what makes the Plasma storyline so terrifying. It's not just about illegal operations. It's about manipulation, psychological warfare, turning people against each other. And let me say this, I genuinely think we're heading toward something tragic. We keep asking, will someone die because of Plasma? I don't think it's a question of if anymore. It's when. Because the deeper Ashley gets pulled into this, the more dangerous it becomes. And if she tries to play both sides, that's a death sentence in stories like this. Now, before I wrap this up, we have to talk about Nicole, Ted, and Chenise. Because, wow, the emotional damage here, Nicole and Ted reuniting feels inevitable. You can see it, the forgiveness, the lingering feelings, it's all there. They're circling each other again. And if they get back together, Chenise is going to be crushed. And honestly, she deserves better. I mean that. She clearly cares about Ted. Maybe more than she even admits. But being with someone who's still emotionally tied to their ex, that's a losing battle. And if Chenise really is connected to Plasma, then this heartbreak could push her even deeper into that world. And that's how everything connects. Romance, betrayal, crime, secrets. It's all feeding into one massive, explosive storyline. So yeah, buckle up. Because if even half of these theories play out, we are heading straight into one of the most intense arcs this show has ever done. And I don't know about you, but I am not ready for the fallout.